Welcome back, Selfish Babe, to another Selfish Babe Selfish Talk podcast. It is your girl Olenike Osi here with another episode. And today I'm very excited to be bringing on this special guest because, as you all know, I have went on a trip to Haiti because I wanted to learn more about Haitian Vodou. And today I have Manbo Cheche Fouye, who guided us in a lot of the ritual and ceremonies in Haiti. And so I can only guys give you my perspective as an outsider of Haitian Vodou who came to learn. And so I kind of want to give you guys a perspective of somebody that's in Haitian Vodou, and you kind of get like that real authentic what is Haitian Vodou. So I'm so excited to be bringing on Manbo Cheche Fouye.
Bonsoir, tout le monde. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you, Olonike, for inviting me.
Ashe, I'm so happy to have you. Okay, so I know that a lot of my selfish babes, just have a lot of questions just about Haitian Voodoo in general. When I had made my podcast, just talking about my personal experience, I just did it from a perspective of, can we just kind of stop talking about this is inherently evil? Can we just have another perspective being shown? Because even when I was showing my videos about, the videos, the vlogs, you have some great comments like, oh my God, I've never seen this. This looks so beautiful. When can I go? But then, of course, you have the ignorant comments like, oh, you need Jesus, you need the Lord, like this is evil. And so I'm just like, okay, hearing those comments on a consistent basis is annoying. And so I just kind of talked about that. But I also wanted my selfish babes to kind of get the real deal, the real tea on Haitian Vodou. And I'm just happy you're here because like you grew up with Haitian Vodou, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. My father was a Hougan. My great grandmother was a Manbo, and it keeps going back, 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 back. My grandmother was asked to marry the Loa and to get initiated, but she fought it, and she believes the reason why she has so much like, I guess, like turmoil or what we call in the Creole like misery
Yeah.
in her life is because she didn't respond to the call. And so she sees me as like her saving grace. So every time we have like ceremony or anything, she's like, put my name in it. Put my name in it. So
That's so
it's so
funny.
funny. I'm like, you out here cheating, but okay, it's fine.
I have a question to that.
Yeah.
Did she ever tell you why she never answered the call?
Um, she and she, so I guess in a couple words, she would say like she was afraid. She has seen um many sides of Vodou, and many sides of Magie. So I think a lot of people see magic done in Haiti and label it Vodou.
Yeah.
I don't even think I would say there is a dark side to Vodou. It just isn't Vodou.
I
Like
like
I think
that.
there is Magie Guinée, and that is Vodou. Like Vodou is light work. It is working with our ancestors from Guinea. And then there are people who do Magie. There's different like societies, different lineages and paths of Magie, Wanga, like travail, things that you can do in Haiti, where people might be a boko, which is like someone who is not initiated, but they're like you know, a magician or or witch or something like that. Doesn't mean that they're calling and the spirits, the Loa, but they may call in zombies, they may call in demons, they may use other areas of work. And I think if you don't have that education, you might just all put all of that in the category of Vodou.
So you're saying
Um,
the people that are doing those forms of magie, that would not be considered voodoo in general. It's just different types of magic.
yeah, I think it's the same if how do I say, like, I think if you travel like to DR and you have Chinese food, Indian food, whatever it is, just because you're in DR doesn't mean you're having Dominican food. Like you're having a experience of some kind of cuisine from another country in that country. So I think it takes knowledge to know like, okay, I'm in this country, I'm experiencing, something that is in the country, but that doesn't mean that everything is Vodou. So my grandma just had seen like many different levels of work being done. And I think she was scared of the lifetime commitment because Vodou is a lifetime commitment. And she wasn't sure if she wanted to commit to it for life. I think that was her fear.
Wow.
I think that's what she meant. Again, I'm translating this in English.
Yeah. But I think it's beautiful that, you know, she wants to participate through you and, you know, you're carrying on the lineage. So I think that's really cool. Yeah. And I really like that you kind of cleared that up because like, that's kind of what I feel like the large majority of people say about voodoo is just like, oh, I've seen it done and this is evil. Or I've had Haitians in my comments that said, oh, my cousin practiced it and it wasn't good. And I'm just like, well, with anything, I think it can be used in a negative way or positive way. But like you just said, you said there's no dark to voodoo. And so what they're doing would just be considered different types of magic, right?
That's what I know and what I would say.
Yeah.
And that's also what I've experienced. You know, I have experienced like people throwing work, doing work, and they're not calling on the Loa to do so. You know, there are people that can summon a spirit and do negative work, which all I can't get into because I mean, it's the same way people can do it in hoodoo. And in other practices, I think it's the same way with Christianity. People may say, well, there's a negative side. That's like Satanism. Like, you know, there is names of that kind of work that is outside of the practice, but kind of might share some like similar patterns. And I think just because it's like, you know, the frame when you say just because we family don't mean we kinfolk. Not all folks are kinfolks. Not all Haitian folks understand the concept. A lot of people who are Ayisyen, they leave Haiti, they go to the US and they have little to no connection to Vodou in real life. Yeah. It's like they might be Haitian, they might have seen a ceremony, but they don't understand the reglement. They're not a voodooistan. Yeah. You know, it's the same with like, you know, you can't assume every person that's Cuban understands Lukumi. Yeah. There are some Black people, some African people that understand Lukumi more than somebody who's Cuban. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a spiritual practice that was born in a country. That doesn't mean that everyone who's Haitian understands voodoo more than anyone who's actually a practitioner. Yeah. So it's a lot of miseducation. So yeah, a lot. Now, I want to ask this question just for clarity for my selfish babes, because let's just say that we is on elementary basic level of voodoo. Okay. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions that are very elementary, very basic, because, you know, people are just wanting to understand from that level. So in your words, how would you describe what is voodoo? Vodou, I would say, is nature worship. It is a deep connection to nature. I see Vodou as an ancestral practice. You know, we know that it's Bon Dieu, God, the ancestors, and the Loa. Like those are our 3 points of energy and forces that we call into the space. And not to say that most ATR practices don't use ancestors in that way, but when we think of like the Petual spirits, those are our collective ancestors that were born during the revolution. You know, they were created. And I can't think of any practice that has a specific pantheon of spirits that were born as like from a revolution or like ancestors of the nation. Yeah. I think when we think of like the Orisha, we think of other spirits. They came from Africa, and we have that in voodoo. And we also have the Petual lineage that was born literally in Haiti during the revolution, who were human beings that, you know, were martyrs, and they elevated as Loa and became Petual spirits. Or were born during the struggle, you know, a mix of many nations coming alive and being born. So When I think of Vodou, I think of nature. I think of connection to the earth. I think of ancestral reverence. And it's home. It's home for many people. I think people are romanticizing voodoo, but not knowing why they want to choose it or not knowing why they feel a connection to it. And I think the Loa are calling, their children home, whether you are Ayisyen and both your parents are Ayisyen, or you have a pinch of like Benin Togo lineage in you. I think everyone is feeling a connection to Vodou in some way, because your ancestors, near and far, ancient and present, are calling you to the practice, calling us home.
Yes. How does one romanticize voodoo, or what have you seen as a romanticism of voodoo?
I see it like it's heavy, like it's so heavy, like it's heavy. When I think of the romanticization of Vodou, sorry, baby is crying.
Oh, I don't even hear him.
Oh wow, okay, headphones. I think of, they're like, oh my God, Frida. Oh my gosh, I love Frida. And it's like, why do you love Frida? Like, who is really Frida to you? You have people that have never been to a fete. They've never been to anything authentically Vodou, but yet they have this obsession with Vodou. Like, oh, Ejuli Dantes, that's my mother. Same way I would say, like many years ago, when people became like, started romanticizing the Orisha. Oh, Oshun is my mother. Like Oshun has my head, and you never had a divination. Like you never had a divination. Like nothing like that. But all of a sudden, Oshun and Oya are your mother, and you've never like gotten your Ori read. Like you've never gone through an initiatory process. It's very much so what I feel is happening now. Can you hear him crying?
I literally don't hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, let me pause and be quiet. I'm like, I don't hear anybody.
Okay. Yeah. I would say it's the same with Vodou, where people are like, oh, Gun, Ejuli Dantes, Frida. Oh my gosh, like feeling a connection, or these are my spirits. Like so many times people are like, oh, my metet is da 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 da. I'm like, number one, like that is not common knowledge. Same with like, for example, you were like, yeah, Oya has your head. It's not the same path in Vodou. Like no one should know who has your head. It's not something that you speak about. And so I think a lot of people are getting excited and romanticizing the secrecy of Vodou.
I can hear that. I can see both perspectives. I can see both perspectives, because for me, even practicing Lukami, I just like was around different priests and priestesses, learned a few things. And then I'm like, okay, I learned a lot from different Oshun priestesses. And I would read about Oshun on the interwebs or in books. I'm like, oh, I feel connected to this Orisha. Like I really felt connected to this Orisha. And then being in Lukami, I hear that often just about, well, oh, now Beyonce is Oshun, so everybody wants to be Oshun. Like, now everybody wants to be Oshun, but they really don't know. But I get both sides, because even for me, like, I personally don't feel like, even when I went on the trip, I didn't feel like, okay, I'm connected to any specific Lua. I just wanted to learn. But there was this one lady I was introduced to Frida. And I'm like, the reason I was in, like, I had a likeness to Frida is just because the sense of luxury. That was it, period. I don't know anything else about Frida. All I know is that a sense of luxury. I'm like, okay, I like that. That's nice. But that's really it. And so I can see both sides, but
I don't even think it's a side thing. I think it's just, it's like when we think about fetishizing people, things, objects, or romanticizing things, like it's not how it's about. When we think of like how someone can fetishize something, it's because they don't have a connection to the people, culture, and they feel some kind of like like unspeakable love and like some weird shit, like to something that they don't have ownership to, which is strange to me. I think it's one thing if you, like you just said, you came to Haiti, like humbly, honestly, wanting to know the people, the culture, the spirituality, all of that. That's humility.
Yeah.
That's love. That's not, you're not fetishizing, you're not romanticizing. You literally came humbly and submerged yourself into the culture. You got to know the people, you got to know the language, you got to know the spirits. That is real shit. Like, that is a real connection. That isn't, oh my gosh, I found all these books that are written by white people talking about voodoo and have no connection to the people, the culture, the language.
Yeah.
Like, that is a different thing. And so that's what I mean, where we live in this generation where people are not connected to any aspects of Vodou, especially the people in the country, the culture, the language.
Yeah.
But like, want to say, oh, I have this connection with the spirit based off of some Google searches, which isn't authentic.
Yeah.
So I don't even think there's sides. I think that's the world we live in. Like, we live in this, whether people want to call it age of Aquarius or not, we live in this age where, you know, people are seeing ATRs like fast food. You know, like they feel they had a dream and then the next day they want to get initiated.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we're having like these microwave initiations. Like, we're having these, like, I had a reading and I'm supposed to be initiated. So many people message me, I have a reading, I'm supposed to be initiated in 3 months.
Wow.
Like, I know so many people.
Who are they getting readings from?
Girl, I'm telling you. I know so many people who once they get a taste or introduction to voodoo, like, I know people who have come to me or like watched a video or done something very minimal. I'm like, yeah, I really enjoyed this experience. I went and found somebody else who was willing to initiate me after knowing nothing. I'll be initiated in 2 months.
That's a problem. And that's unsafe.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I mean. Like, we live in a world where, like, like, people are self-initiating, and the sacredness of these practices aren't being honored in the way that they've been honored for generations.
Yeah.
Like, these processes are important. Like, you know, this is why me and Miela really wanted to have this retreat.
Yeah.
It's so that we can show people like the heartbeat of Vodou.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, laugh with the people, like, go to the beach, like, really have a fete in our laku, like, in our home, like, really be a part of that experience. See how we do the sacrifices, see everything. It was not only in, like, you were submerged in it, but it was also a learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, before we did things, we tried to explain as much as we could, but you know, people at the end were like, y'all were like, bonsoir. I'm like, look at y'all. You know,
we were
doing what they could. And I'm like, that is what is real. Like, you know, I think a lot of people feel like their entry point to voodoo is initiation, but the entry point is actually getting to know the Loa. Like, going to Ogun face to face and saying, Ogun, like, do you have a message for me? Like, that is connecting to Vodou. That is building a relationship with the spirits that is not about romanticizing, oh, I have this relationship with Ogun, but has never, you know, done work for Ogun, has never made offerings for Ogun, and hasn't actually done the work to actually have a connection with the spirits, right?
Yeah.
And you see it when Ogun says, I don't know you, or Ogun says, I know you, and I've known you for many years. You know, that happens. That happens. And I've seen it happen where some people who have been like, oh, like, Ogun is my husband. And then when they see Ogun, Ogun's like, who is that?
Yeah.
Be like, yikes. Oh my God. I cannot look. I cannot look. Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it be having, I'd be crying. I'd be having to run to another room and cry and laugh.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So what is a Manbo and what is a Hougan, just for like the baby steps?
Okay. A Manbo is a mother of magic. A Hougan is a father of magic. And Manbo means like you are a woman, femme identifying priestess of Vodou, and Hougan is male identifying priest of Vodou.
Thank you. And
Mhm.
you are Haitian, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking these questions for everybody. Don't, I'm asking for
I hear
everybody,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right.
as a Haitian, what brought you to voodoo? I know like you grew up with it, but I'm asking this question because I know personal Haitians that do not want any connection to voodoo at all. And they go with the same thinking of no parts of it, evil, don't want to do it. And so I'm asking, as a Haitian who is actively practicing Haitian voodoo, what brought you to this?
Um, the spirits called me. Like, I think that can sound very vague and flat, but that's really what it was.
Yeah.
I did grow up having a connection to Vodou. Like I had La Vitette really young, like in my teenage years. I, had witnessed, seen, ceremonies. Um, and I think is, like when you grow up in the church, you may go to church, and then when you get older, like you become distant to it.
Yeah.
Vodou was something that was very demonized. I'm both Haitian and Gullah Geechee.
Yeah.
So my family, who is Geechee, demonized my Haitian side.
Mm.
So there were elements of it that I like was distant to and didn't want to like dive like deep into.
Yeah.
And then I have also, and I do practice Ifa.
Yeah.
So I have had my hand in Ifa for about 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Um, the year I was preparing for initiation, the year I got initiated into Haitian Voodoo, I was also preparing for initiation into Ifa.
Yeah.
Now, Ifa is something I chose. It is not something where I'm like, the spirits told me I have to do this. It was like something that I loved, and I fell in love with the practice. And I wanted to serve the Orisha. Like that was something
Yeah.
deep in my heart. I traveled to Cuba, Trinidad, Barbados to really understand a more Caribbean lens of Ifa.
Yeah. Trinidad is
And
on my list, by the way.
yes, I've traveled to Trinidad like 5 times to go to different ilays. Like it's been powerful for me. I've stayed for months. Like
Yeah.
I've really like submerged into my practices in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Um, so I was preparing for my Ifa initiation, and I was having a lot of blockage. Like the money wasn't flowing. Like I was having a hard time raising the money. Like it was hard for me to just get support for my family. Like it was just a lot of blockage.
Yeah.
And I had to just get a divination. I divined on it, and it was clear as day. They're like, there is an ancestral practice that you need to initiate into that you're ignoring.
Yeah.
Um, and, of course, it's an Ifa divination, so it's not going to say it's voodoo, but all the signs are pointing to me initiating a voodoo. So then I got a reading from, I got a hoodoo reading, a voodoo reading. I got so many different readings to confirm what I was feeling and experiencing.
Yeah.
And it was as clear as day that like Vodou was my path and is my path.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you are chosen by the spirits and you are ignoring the call, you will start to see a lot of like misery and struggle and strife in your life. And that's what was happening to me. Like everything felt like it was like falling down. Like I feel like everything was like it was like terror. Like it was the
Yeah.
worst moments of my life, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And I had, like since I was a kid, like I had received a lot of prophecy.
Yeah.
Like when I was in my mom's womb, like she was prophesied to about my priesthood journey when my mother was 9 months pregnant. And like when I was 9 years old, I had went to like a revival. If you Christian, you know what a revival is. I went to a revival. Like my family is Pentecostal. I went to a revival, and the pastor was like, "She's going to be a priestess," and my mom was like, "No, you mean like a pastor?" She was like, "No, she's going to be
Yeah.
a priestess." Like
Yeah.
my family was like, "Oh, we need to lay hands on her. We rebuke this,"
Wow.
So it was a big thing. Like I always had like prophetic dreams and visions. The spirit spoke to me at a young age. Um, I went through a lot of like spiritual connection. I think I had to accept the fact that this was my path and journey. And once I did that, everything has come with ease. And I think sometimes when we fight, I think it's two things. When we fight our purpose and destiny, we will have struggle.
Mm-hmm.
When we force a destiny that is not our own, we will have struggle.
That's true.
And I experienced that in both ways.
Yeah.
I was forcing my like Ifa initiation that wasn't for me, and I had struggle. Yeah. I was ignoring my destiny, and I had struggle. Once I accepted it, and I said, okay, I'm not meant to get initiated into Ifa. Voodoo is my path. I had the money for my voodoo initiation in like 4 days. Wow. When I was like fundraising for a year for my Ifa.
They said, you ready, girl? Here the money.
Like, I remember it was like the most humble thing of my life. I sat at my altar with just like a plain like glass white candle, like no extra nothing. I wasn't dressing nothing. I just lit that candle and I was like, you know what, y'all? I surrender.
Oh, shit.
If this is what y'all want from me, give me the money like this week. And I would like, I surrender. Wow. I surrender. It's in your hand. And I'm telling you, it was like boom, 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 boom. Like it was intense, like intense. Even my family who had been quiet about voodoo for a long time, like they like came out the closet and was like, I practice. Oh my God. And I was like, what is happening? Like, it became, and it was like when I was going the Ifa way, it was like so much like conflict. And it's like voodoo has brought my family like together.
Wow.
So it's like, it was like divinely ordained and like definitely called for. It's like, I had been having dreams since I was a kid. And it's like when I got initiated and I came and moved to Haiti, it was like all these dreams I was having from a young age, like became real.
Yeah.
I was very long-winded, but
oh no, we love it. Okay, we love the details and everything. I know my selfish babe love the details. I love the details as well. Okay, so it's nothing wrong with no long-windedness. Okay, storytelling. Thank you. Okay, so you accepted your path to voodoo, and you talked about moving to Haiti. And my question is, did you move to Haiti because of your initiation into voodoo, or you decided on your own that or your spirit said, "Hey, go to Haiti, so this is where I'm going"?
It was a multitude of many different things. I am someone that, I practice ATR. So I practice a different, I have little connections to different practices, Ifa, Dagra, Lukumi, of course, Vodou, Hoodoo, different practices I have different connections to, and I travel and get to know the practices.
Yeah.
And I had been traveling since I was 18, like spending like 3 months to a year in different places.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I said, I need to go home.
Yeah.
Like I had been to Cuba, Trinidad, Barbados, like mad different places that practice these ATR systems, Brazil, like, and I was like, okay, like I need to go home. And I felt that calling. Even when I was young, like all my cousins, we would like talk like, oh, one day we're going to go to Haiti and have a big house.
Yeah.
That was definitely a dream.
Yeah.
That we will be able to like go home and have a big house. Like I always wanted to have that experience.
Yeah.
I wanted to come and like meet my family that's in Haiti. Is like, I'm first generation. So it's like, I only have a pinch of family that is in the US. And then a lot of my family is still in Haiti.
Okay.
So, we had a dream to reunite and connect to the land, like come back home. And it always seemed like very distant because, once it's sad to say, but once, some folks that are Ayisyen come to the US, it's like you're trapped there. It's like you dive deep into like these trauma stories of what happened and what can happen. And they're afraid to come back. A lot of Haitian folks that come, like say it's your grandmother that came to the US. She then raises her kids and her kids raises their kids to be afraid of coming to Ayiti.
Yeah.
And even like my aunt who was born in Haiti, she was like, I haven't been back to Haiti since I left when I was like 7.
Wow.
And she was like, and you weren't even born or raised in a country, and you lived there, you built a home, you built a business, you gave birth in Haiti. Like, I would have never imagined doing that because I've been afraid. And she was like, you have lifted that fear that I have. And she's like, I don't even know where it came from. She's like, I don't even know where it came from. She was like, I was 7 when I came to the US. Why am I afraid? And like, me and her have, you know, me and my family have been calling me and like trying to like decolonize, where is this unspoken fear coming from when they've not had any traumatic experience themselves. And so when we talk about generational trauma, is like our family that go through their migration have some kind of trauma connected to their birth land, and then they pass it on to their kids without giving like a proper, like, Caribbean people, you Jamaican, like, we can hold on to some secrets. We can hold on to some secrets, just Black people in general, Southern folks too. Like, you be having deep, dark secrets and you won't sell the whole story. But I just told you, don't go. You don't need to know why. It's like, okay. And so that kind of happens. And so it's like some folks that don't know, they just blame it on voodoo, blame it on this, blame it on whatever, why they can't come, like blame it on the gang, blame it on this. And so everyone starts to see all of Ayiti is Port-au-Prince, like, not like there isn't Okai, there isn't Jacmel, there isn't Gunaïv, there's not Gunguab, like all these different places of Ayiti exist. And I think we just see what the propaganda is happening in the US wants to see and tell us instead of having a real lived experience. Like, my family's always like, oh my God, I saw this on the news. Are you safe? Is everything okay? I'm like, I'm at the beach eating grilled fish. I'm good. We're good. Like, I just came out from bathing in the ocean. I'm good.
I think what your aunt spoke to you about in terms of you coming to Haiti, building a home in Haiti, having a birth in Haiti, and just living in Haiti, I feel like from her perspective seems remarkable. And I think that that's amazing, because I think sometimes what I was talking about in my last podcast episode is just like, your family or close friends may not agree with certain things that you are doing for yourself that you feel called to do, but then you go ahead and do them. And that may, as she has said, lifted the fear of what she had this unspoken fear about coming back, but she sees you physically in Haiti doing your thing, still alive, still thriving. And she's like, wow, how is she doing that? And so it just changes her perspective, and you continue to walk on your path. And that's what I tell my selfish babes a lot, is that you may have family members or friends that don't agree with what you're being called to, but nonetheless, still do the thing that you're feeling called to. You may change their mind. And the point is not to change their mind. The point is just to follow your personal path. And so I think being there, you building a home there, like, I just feel like this like warmth, like, damn, that's so amazing. So I just feel like that's like that, what she said, I'm just like, it must seem really remarkable. And you're right. There is a lot of fear around Haiti. And even for me, before going on the trip, I'm just like, okay, we're hearing about these kidnappings, like, what's going on? And it's just like, when we got there and we were in Jacmel, you're just like, people are living, people are thriving, people are going to school, going to work. And it's like, not everywhere is Port-au-Prince. And so it's just like, oh, I can come back. And it's just like, for me going there, I didn't really say, I told my mom I was going to Haiti, but I didn't really say what for. But it's just like, going there, I'm just like, even for me, has lifted off that fear that I had. I will say, as a person just living in the US, you just hear the news. That's all you hear is like, I haven't heard good news from Haiti on the news, period. I haven't heard that. And so for me, it's just like, if we're going based on the news, it kind of is like, it's like you almost demonize the whole damn country. And it's just like, that's not true. And then that's why, as we've talked about, Haiti has been a category 4 for however long. And so people, they're just saying, don't go. But I don't ever know when they'll say, hey, it's green. It's a green light. Let's go. I don't know if that's going to happen. I would like that to happen. But I just love the way that you described that. And for my selfish babes that have a connection to Haiti, I'm just so grateful that you were just able to hear that, because even when I posted, I think I had an old college mate, and she was and she's Haitian as well. And she was just like, saying that she kind of felt a connection, but was scared. And like, she just never seen it posted like this, like in a like just a different light. And it's just like I feel that way about maybe like newer generations, right? I'm Jamaican. I wasn't born in Jamaica. I was born in Florida, but I have Jamaican roots. And every other month I would be in Jamaica. My mom would not go back to Jamaica. I'm just in Jamaica. And so for some people, even family in Jamaica, they're just like, well, I'm not sure why you keep coming back. But, you know, everybody has a different lived experience. Like, although life in America may seem one way, there are certain things that we're missing, like a sense of community, nature, sunlight, like just this sense of freedom, right? Whereas maybe in America, like everything, even though there's quote unquote order, that order can feel almost like confinement. And like in certain places, there's not a lot of nature, where somebody from the Caribbean may be like, oh, I want to go to foreign, and foreign is America. And that's their major life goal. And that's their dream. And so for my selfish babes listening, if you are Haitian and you feel that connection, you know, I just like that you guys heard that. But I want to ask you a question, Cheche Fouye. The walk of a priestess, because you are a priestess, how would you describe that walk, and what is it to you? How has it been for you? Because as we know on Instagram, sometimes we see some ladies that say, oh, I'm a priestess. I'm living the priestess life. And they may not be initiated into anything, or they may be self-initiated, as you said. But how would you describe the walk of a priestess from your lived experience?
Oh, Adeeke, you be getting right to the point. You're like, so this is what it is. So what you got to say? I'm here for it. I would say that it is beautiful. It is sweet. It is generous. It is hard. It is big. It is wide. It's so many different things. Sometimes I feel like the weight of the world is on me. I am a Manbo that lives in Haiti. I have responded to the call of my spirit, and I have been blessed, and I'm honored to have received the call, received the dream, and acted on the visions that the spirits have given me. And I have big faith, big trust, and I'm constantly doing things to serve Eloah, to serve the spirits. And you know, there is a community around me that doesn't have a lot and need a lot. And we're always getting knocks on our door. We're always being asked to give. I'm always trying to find ways to offer jobs, bring income to folks in my community. Usually when I do work for people, I invite other Mambos and Hougans that are in my community to help with the work, and I also pay them as well, which is what Alaku is. You know, in Vodou, nothing is meant to be done alone. It's like we're held accountable by the spirits because we do things in community. You know, I could be doing something. If I get mounted, who is going to give the message of what the spirit is saying if I'm mounted? And so Voodoo is about community. Someone is calling the spirit, someone is getting mounted, someone is taking the messages, someone is getting the water, someone is getting the fan, someone's getting the mushfa. Like there's so many elements of what makes it community. And one of the reasons of why I moved to Haiti was not just because it was a childhood dream. I wanted to be a true, authentic Manbo or Voodoo Ayisyen of Haitian Voodoo. And that meant moving to Haiti and being submerged by Voodoo 24/7. Just today, I'm still wearing the clothes from Magic Cousin, right? And, you know, to me, being a Mambo is being a mother of magic. You know, like I started to feel my legs shift and change, and started to feel I was about to be mounted by, I was on the verge of being mounted by Cousin. I started to feel myself leave. And another mom would grab me and was like, oh, the baby's crying. So it was like, you know, and so I'm running out of the temple to go and breastfeed my baby. And like, that is like being a priestess, being a mother of magic is like balancing both worlds, you know, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm a student. I'm a teacher. I'm a mother of magic and a mother of literal flesh. Which is divine and beautiful. I've been raising my child in Voodoo since I found out I was pregnant. You know, and so that is a Mambo, is raising your family, your flesh, your blood in a practice, and knowing that my initiation is not just about myself. It is about the generations and the legacy that is going to be born through me and by me.
Wow.
And committing myself and surrendering myself beyond like this flesh and blood, but my flesh and blood, to continue the lineage. And like my husband is also Hougan. So we have like talked and dreamt about, you know, what is the legacy we want to have and how we want our great, 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 great grandkids to continue to be like you say, bon, like for example, you had asked me, is it Cheche Fouye Bon Manbo? So when I say my literal name is Cheche Fouye Bon Manbo, that means my name, and bon is good, like the good Mambo, right? And so all of us, we have our Mambo or Hougan name, Bon Hougan, Bon Mambo, because our intention and our purpose in life is to be a bon Mambo, is to be a good Mambo, to serve the spirits, to serve the community, to serve our laku, which is like our yard, our compound, our community, like near and far. And so that is what a Mambo is like. I know, I hope that makes sense to people.
It does.
You know, it could be like being a Mambo is like when I wake up in the morning, not just making food for myself, but food for 15 people, for whoever knocks on the door when they come.
Wow.
You know, that is my everyday.
Wow.
And I hope we realize like this journey, it can't be selfish. Like I hear you in our friends that are listening, but in the context of like, it's a selfless journey of surrendering to like, there's times when I'm like, I need some privacy. And it's like, I got like 10 people in my yard and my privacy is me closing my bedroom door.
Yeah.
You know?
I get that. And I just felt like, but I just hear is living in community. We're living in community. And even when you were talking about being in ceremony, almost being mounted by cuisine, and then like the other Mambo is like, oh, your baby needs to be fed, or your baby's crying and you ran out. I just like could visualize that. Like I could just kind of see you running out, like, you know, in a rush. And I don't know. I felt like I was reading a book, if that makes sense. Sometimes when I'm reading a book, I can really like imagine something. And I just kind of felt that way when you were telling that story. I don't know if book writing has ever been on your agenda, but that's what I felt like. And I was like, oh, this would be a nice book. That's just what the thought that I had coming. Like it just felt that way.
My life. I know, it's crazy. I'm like, this really be my life though. And I'm just like, I was like, damn, sweating and everything. It's like,
I do want to touch on that though, now that we brought it up, because for me and for my selfish babe, so for me, a selfish babe is the woman who selfishly and authentically loves herself, pours into herself, creates the life of her dreams. And the reason why I decided to use selfish is because I wanted to take selfish from a negative connotation to just a more positive connotation. Because when I'm thinking about women are always giving, nurturing, all the above. And for me, I'm like, we can do so much more when we pour into ourselves. That's just really what it's about. And so I want to ask you, what do you do to pour into yourself?
And it kind of like feeds into it a little bit. Like when I was like, no offense to anybody that isn't selfish, babe, like you can still be selfish and selfless.
Yes.
I think it's a hard balance. Like I have to be real with you. It is a hard balance because like I said, being a Mambo is about being selfless.
Yeah.
And I know so many, like my spiritual mother, her daughter, who like, I'm like, did you sleep today?
Yeah.
You know, they will feed like 500 people and sleep 2 hours.
Wow.
And it is a surrendering that, like voodoo is so much about surrendering. It's so selfless.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I think when I think about my grandmother, like she was afraid of like what a surrender would look like that like couldn't be told. Like you don't know what it looks like or feels like. You just know you're surrendering your life for eternity.
Yeah.
Like what does that look and feel like? Like there's no divorcing or like uninitiating in voodoo.
Yeah.
You know, like in some practices you can lay your ilekes or your hand to rest.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing in voodoo.
Yeah.
So it is hard. I will say that, you know, to everyone, like there there is moments where I want to be selfish, and I do
Yeah.
have them. They're not big moments, but they're big enough for me.
Yeah.
And it might be like, hey, like I have a newborn, and well, not even a newborn anymore. I have an infant,
Yeah.
and we need to sleep in. Like y'all cannot show up at our house before 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like that is me being selfish.
I see.
Sundays I don't do any readings unless
Yeah.
it's like an absolute like dire emergency,
Yeah.
like something like that. But
Yeah.
usually I don't read on Sundays. I don't do work on Sundays, and Voodoo Sundays is like God's day.
Yeah.
It's also like Dambala's day. It's like, a day to relax and breathe and center yourself. So I honor Dimash. Like I honor Sunday. I usually go to the beach with my family and relax. But
Yeah.
I will say, every day is a spirit's day.
Yeah.
So I usually have a lot of work to do. But I do try my best, and I'm like in full accountability. I do need to be more selfish
Yeah.
with my time and energy as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I try my best to set boundaries. And I think sometimes when people know that you're a priest or you're initiating a system, like everyone is in a place of crisis.
Yeah.
And I think they forget to have honest boundaries.
Yeah.
Like I need you now. Like people will call me. I've never met you a day in my life. Will call me from Instagram like 20 times in a
Oh
row.
no.
Like, I need your help now. And I'm like, what you can do
That's the fastest
is
way to
book
get
a
blocked, in my
reading.
opinion. But hey, I get it. That's the fastest way to get blocked. Like, I don't like that. You're not about to call me on fucking Instagram. But I get it.
Right,
Like, I can have some compassion. 1, 2, 3,
right,
this is the steps.
right.
But that's the fastest
Like
way to get blocked for
I
me.
hear your passion. So no, I definitely, if I feel unsafe or like uncomfortable, I will block somebody and remove somebody.
Yeah.
I am very big on not disposing Black people.
Yeah.
Because I've been in places where like people have like ended relationships or connections or whatever the case may be, and it has scarred me. So I, in my practice, believe that Black people are not disposable. And so even if a person does not, I cannot work with the person, I send them to someone else and I
Yeah.
wish them well and have the day that you deserve. Like,
Yeah.
be on your way. We
Yeah.
are not called to work together, but may you be well.
Ashe. No, I liked you sharing some of the things that you do and creating your own boundaries. Like, people can't come before 10 o'clock or certain things like that, because those things are important. You may call them small, but they make a big impact for you and your energy, because what you're giving is a lot of your energy. And it's like, without the energy, there's not much to be given, right? You serve a big community.
Yeah.
And so I think you having those boundaries is beautiful. And that's just what it is in terms of being a selfish babe or having some type of selfishness, is just that. Like, what do we need for ourselves? And so I'm happy that you shared that. I think that's really important. Because I can look at my own godmother and I'm like, being a godmom or being a priestess is not easy. Like, especially when you have godchildren and you're serving the community and all these things. And I think sometimes people do forget the human behind the work that you do. I think sometimes people naturally can forget the human behind the work that you do. And so, and the reason I had asked about that priestess question is because, even for me on the outside looking in, I'm like, as a person that has godchildren, not me. I don't have any godchildren. I don't know if I ever will. One day we'll see it. It's not something that I'm like craving to do, but, I'm like, damn, this is a lot of work. Like, that's what I'll say. Damn, it's a lot of work. There's a lot to be given. There's a lot that's done, a lot of big moments, a lot of gratitude, but it's a lot of work. And I feel like in terms of maybe the romanticizing that we had talked about earlier, I don't think that people see that, because even when I had asked a question on my Instagram, I said, hey, I'm interviewing somebody that's in Haitian Vodou. What are your questions? I had at least 3 people ask me about initiation. That was their first question. How do you get initiated? How do you
and
get
ask them,
initiated?
have you ever been to a ceremony? And I guarantee you, I put
Yeah.
$100 on it. Never.
But even that, it's just like, I think a part of that, like we talked about the romanticizing, I'm like, y'all, it's a lot of work. Like there's a lot that you don't see. It's a lot of work.
It's
But
a
I
lot of
guess like
work.
people don't see it, so they don't know, I guess. But it's just like it's a lot of work. So
And
I'm
I
glad
think
that you
that's
talked
what
about
gets
that.
scary too. I think that's what gets scary is people's, again, like going to the retreat. Like the reason why we did it is to show that initiation is not the entry point. There's actually many levels of initiation into Haitian voodoo. Like not initiations, but many levels
Yeah.
to being a voodoo son. Like you can have like a lavi ted. You can be an unsi, which is like kind of like a deacon in a church.
What's a labatet?
And then a lavi ted is, oh, it means like translation, washing of the head.
Okay.
And like you're able to, it's like it brings you into a voodoo community. You become a part of the house. It's like really your entryway to being a voodooism.
Okay.
You find out your metet. You know, you can serve, you know, the spirits that claim your head. You know, it's a way to really get into the practice.
Yeah.
And then there's unsi, which is like a deacon, and then the supuen, which is like kind of like a minister.
Yeah.
It's like you're a Mambo or Hougan, but you're not you don't carry the ason and you
Okay.
can't initiate.
Okay.
And then there's the highest level is like a Mambo or Hougan Asogwe. So I'm an Asogwe.
Yeah.
So I can initiate others and I use the ason, which is you've seen me use the ason, the rattle.
Yeah.
And like usually you'll see people like if you remember, there were people like maybe holding the perfume or holding the candle.
Yeah.
Even for people that may, you know, see my Instagram, if you look at some of the videos where we're saluting the spirits, you'll see other people with me. Yeah. Sometimes it might be a Mambo Hougan, but most of the time it might be someone who's like an Usi or a Supuen that might be holding the candle, holding the water, holding the perfume, right?
Yeah.
And they're supporting, like their job is to serve the Loa and to support other Mambo and Hougans Asogwe in the work.
Okay.
The same way you would see like, you know, a bishop getting support from other ministers or pastors in the church.
Yes. Yes. Well, there y'all have it. Okay. There's many levels. Okay. Many levels. But that literally, girl, that was literally the question. How do you get initiated? How do you get initiated? How do you get initiated? I'm just like, we'll see. But I wanted you to discuss a little bit about how Haitian Voodoo has impacted the Haitian Revolution, because I feel like people forget that part or they don't know about that part. And then it's just like, but we were freed through this spiritual practice, but we don't want to be associated with this spiritual practice. So how has Haitian Voodoo impacted the Haitian Revolution?
It's the birth. Like voodoo and the liberation of Haiti can't not coexist.
Yeah.
Voodoo became the most alive, I believe, during the Haitian Revolution. When we think of Bois Caïman, which is the ceremony, I believe in 1791, that really liberated Ayiti.
Yeah.
And broke the shackles and really called in the Loa. You know, Black pig was sacrificed to Ayisyen Dantes, and it really was the catalyst that broke the chains. You know, when we think of Ogun, we think of Nago Nation. When you see Ogun, he is a militant person. You know, when we think of Nago Nation, they're soldiers, they're warriors. They're like, you know, sometimes people who have dreams of Ogun, you see him in his military uniform, in his hat and everything. You see soldiers of the revolution. And when we think of Ogun, Ogun was the Loa that really walked with our ancestors to really be the soldiers to free us from bondage, right?
Yeah. You
think of Ayisyen Dantes as like the mother of voodoo because her spirit was called in to liberate Haiti. When we think of like the Petual nation alone, that is the Haitian Revolution. If you go to like, so there are certain different kinds of like Congo, Petwo, ceremonies, and one of them I can speak on is called Bakye. And that is like a ceremony where you call in the Petwo spirit. You know, everyone is in all white with their head wrapped in red. And you know, there's a whip that is always going. It like brings, like everything brings in the sound of the revolution. You know, some places, some houses may have like actually like some kind of gunpowder, something like that, but you hear the crack of the whip. There's usually the whistle that is always blown, which is like the sound of the revolution coming from the soldiers. Like everything, it's like hot and heavy. It's fast movements. Fast movements, like it brings in the fire of the revolution. And when people are mounted, it's like you feel it, like it's Ogun, it's all Petwo spirits that were called during the revolution. And it's like you're hearing the clinking, like the clinking of pots and pans and plates. Like it's all the sounds of the revolution that come alive in this ceremony. And it's like it gives me chills just thinking about it. And so when we think of just alone the Petwo nation, that is the pantheon that was born in Ayiti for the liberation of Haitian people, for the liberation of this land. And I don't know of any, like, not even just ATR, I can't think of any spiritual practice that has a pantheon like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't born outside of, you know, we think of like, okay, yes, there is Igbo, Congo, Yoruba, other nations of West Africa, Central America that came into the belly of what is voodoo, the Dahomey people. Yes, those are elements of voodoo. And there is an element of voodoo that is specific to Haiti, like to Haiti, right? And I think that is what makes Haitian voodoo so unique and powerful, because it makes it so ancestral, because it was born here and it like has that legacy. Like you won't find the Petwo spirits like in some other place. It's here.
Yeah, you have to go. I agree.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, because I know my selfish babes are going to want to know, like for somebody that may be feeling a call to voodoo, like what would you suggest? What would your advice be? Like, you know, where do they go? Because I think this is what the thing is that has been for me, that's been hard to answer for some people, is because I have people, I know at one point, I was really interested in African spirituality, ATRs. And I'm like, okay, look at this book, met this priestess, got a reading. And then from there, things just kind of like progressed. And I, of course, I'm talking to my ancestors and letting them know like what I would like or whatever. So I tell people, connect with your ancestors, talk to them about it. May the way be opened. And then things just happen like that. But I don't have a like, okay, you do this and you're going to get into this. Like there's no one way like that. And so I just wanted to know what your advice would be for somebody that's like, hey, I'm interested in Haitian Vodou. How do I get started? What would the advice be for those people?
So I do get a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm feeling called to this and this and that practice. Can I get a reading on it? I do read for people where I, you know, see like if it's in the cards for, you know, you to get initiated, for you to have a call to voodoo, for you to have a call to Ifa, or to like your ancestral practice. Many things come up, like, you know, whether it's like being a bushwoman, or being a doula, or being, you know, a herbalist, a farmer, getting initiated into Ifa, going into voodoo, like all those different things come up. I think the first entry point has to be getting a reading from a trusted priest or priestess, whether it's voodoo or any other practice. Get an honest reading. Like get an honest reading. And if you don't already have an ancestor altar, build one. You know, light a candle, ask a question, sleep with the journal near your bed, put a glass of water with a pinch of salt, and just ask for them to come to you and give you clarity and direction. And just wait. write what you get, write what you receive, release the spirit of fear and doubt and accept that what you're hearing and receiving is real and it's from the ancestors.
I
And
love
if
that.
you are confused by the dream, go back to them and say, I feel confused. When I lay my head to rest tonight, I'm asking for clarity. Dreams is a form of divination of voodoo.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to really just know that dreams are also sacred as well. And we have the power to connect with the ancestral realm in that way through the dream realm. And surrender, like seek community, go to a ceremony, come to Haiti, do things that actually get you connected to the practice. And know that initiation isn't like there's no race.
Yeah.
I think people say, okay, I went to a ceremony. Now what's next? I'm
Yeah.
ready to get initiated. Like I had waited a long time before I got initiated. Like
Yeah.
I was supposed to get initiated like 4 years before I got initiated because I was just like, oh, I'm not ready yet. Let me wait. Hold
Yeah.
on, wait a second. Like I was just waiting it on. And
Yeah.
now it's like I'm in it to win it for life. Like I'm down. I'm down for the get down for life.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I guess I don't understand the perspective of the rush either because like I've been told long before I got initiated, oh, this would be good for you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, but I wasn't ever rushed. I wasn't pressed.
Me too.
I was not pressed. I said, okay, when I was
like,
ready, I was
yeah,
ready.
Cool.
When I was ready, I was ready. So then when people are like rushing to get initiated, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the rush is. Maybe they feel validated in some way. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I like that you gave out those steps. I like that you talked about connecting to your ancestors. And I just want to make this point clear. If you guys don't already know, ain't nobody going to be like, oh my God, Queen, I feel your energy. DM me for a reading. Or they already DM'd you that. Ain't nobody valid is DMing you about a reading. So please do not fall for that. Okay. Do not fall for that. Especially when the Babalawos follow you on Instagram. No. And no shade, but I be blocking. No. So what she said is get a reading from a trusted reader. And Manbo does readings herself. Do you mind kind of going over some of the services that you offer and how people can contact you?
Yes. So I do traditional voodoo card readings, which is like the divination, like traditional divination style of an Asogwe. So I read cards. You can ask any question you want to ask the spirits. I do Travail Wanga, which is like, I guess in an English translation, the best I can think of is like spell work, root work. You have a problem or like an ebo, like you would say. Like say you get a reading and the spirits reveal what the situation is. And so therefore you should do this work. Like I'll give you a recommendation and it's not as closely linked like with Ifa. It's like you have to close the reading by getting an ebo. There's no like you don't have to get, Wanga, but if you feel you need, if you want to, if it's like a dire situation, like we'll highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Then we have things like leçon, which is like, we usually call in a spirit to communicate with us. Like, for example, you have things you want to ask Ogun, we'll not really Ogun, like we'll call in Ogun. There'll be someone that is like taking notes and like communicating with the spirit. And then there might be someone that's like doing other work, like working with the client. But it's a team effort.
Yeah.
To get the message. And the spirit either will be there to do work or to say what needs to be done. And usually like we take precaution after like what we need to do, what the person needs to do, what the situation is. And it's very intimate. It's like, that person is able to have a conversation about their life, their situation directly with the spirit.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm an herbalist and a Reiki master. So I do distant Reiki. And I also do herbal consultation. Everything that I do offer, I do include voodoo. So I do call in the loa. I do sing to the loa when I do Reiki. Um, some people use Reiki symbols. I use the veves.
Yeah.
So I incorporate like voodoo into everything, even with my herbal work as well. I incorporate the loa. I use Caribbean herbs. Um, so yeah,
And how can they
that's where a
contact
lot of my
you?
services look. Contacting, um, anything you find, Laku Dantes at Gmail. You can do the contact us on my Laku Dantes page. Laku Dantes at Instagram. You can DM me.
Let's spell that real quick for the people.
Yes, LAKOU, and then DENES.
Okay, I love that. And we're gonna wrap this up, but I wanted to ask like 2 or 3 more questions because it's come to my mind. But can you talk a little bit about Papa Legba? And just a little bit, just a tiny bit, because I did want to kind of like give my selfish babe just a little bit of like some information on some of the Loa. And then I just wanted to start with Papa Legba. So we can just, talk a little bit about him.
I'm gonna be quick.
Yeah.
Mommy time is coming. And we have Majiloa again. So we're gonna call in the spirits to feed Hougan. I do have to go soon.
Okay.
But Papa Legba, he is gatekeeper. He is in the beginning of the ceremonies. Is not the first thing we do, but he is in the beginning of how we open the way. Papa Legba is not Eshu.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people mix it together, but like Eshu is very similar to Gede, but also has elements of Papa Legba. So I would say, yes, there are like the crossroads, but that's really about it. Like Papa Legba isn't a trickster. Doesn't like do like make you lose things or play games. Like that is not an element of Papa Legba. He's a wise elder.
Yeah.
And so Papa Legba, that's one of the reasons why, we did the Red Rooster to Papa Legba. A part of the retreat is because we wanted Papa Legba to open the gates for everyone, to open the roads, to open all good paths for everyone that was on the retreat. And so that the blessings of your ancestors, the Orisha, the Loa, everyone and everything will come in and just bless you with abundance and prosperity.
I pray that Papa Legba opens up, that this interview reaches a global audience, because I just felt called for you to say his name. And my other question is, we all want to know, is there going to be another trip? And my last question is, can white people be initiated into voodoo? I know my people want to know.
I'm probably gonna need to go. I cannot say by myself that there's gonna be another trip.
Yeah. I just tell people to follow y'all pages. Follow the pages.
Yes. This trip was born from both me and Miela. So it has to be a decision we make together. We have dreamt about like doing it in Haiti or other places, but it being the same message and theme of where the waters meet with Haitian Voodoo and Hoodoo. So that will always be the connection. We might bring in other practices depending on where we are. But, it was something that needed to be born. Yeah. It had to be born. It was something that like was in my belly while I was pregnant, and Miela came to Haiti and was my doula. And I told her, I was like, we were here, like I was preparing to give birth. Like I was like 2 days away from giving birth. And I was like, I have this dream. Like, I already wrote out the like retreat. Like, I have this dream. Would you be down to do this with me? And she was like, I've been dreaming of bringing people to Haiti. And so like we like brought it together, a dream, a vision of just like making this happen. And it happened.
Yeah.
It was born. But I don't know. I do pray another one will happen. I will just say stay tuned. Because if there's going to be another one, it will be probably in like 2024.
Yeah.
Probably won't be another one in 2023, but probably in 2024, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, y'all follow the pages. Okay. That's what I tell people. Follow the pages.
Right.
You gonna give us this tea on this white people and initiation or no?
White people do get initiated into Haitian Vodou.
Okay.
It is a real thing.
Okay.
It happens. There is white people in my house, in the house that I'm initiated into.
Yeah.
I will say that I do have conflict and resolution around white people being initiated into Haitian Vodou.
Yeah.
It doesn't rest well with my spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. And I only wanted to bring that up because I have a god sister that's white in my house, and I don't have any issues with it, but I saw like literally Yemoya open up her arms and bring my god sister in. And this is already when she's already initiated. And so it kind of broke down for me only, right? My mindset of like, no, I guess some white people can be initiated into these practices. I understand why they're closed practices. I understand as people of African descent or Black people why we may have our guard up towards it as well. So I get all sides, but it was interesting for me to see spirit open up with open arms. So I just wanted to get that answer from you, just so people heard it from, my mouth. But I wanted to say thank you so much, Manbo Cheche Fouye, for being on this interview.
It's not. Sorry, I'm going to say this last thing.
Yeah.
I will say that so in Voodoo, is very different from like Lukumi and Ifa. Like you have your Ifa corpus, like you have your Ifa corpus, like poems and prayers. Like you have content that is brought throughout all houses. Like you have Odus that are Odus. Like there's no like, well, this house has this, like Eji Okbe is like this in this house. No, Eji Okbe is Eji Okbe in every house, right?
Yeah.
Now it's not that way in Voodoo. Like Voodoo, every house has a different reglement, a different tradition, a different rule of order of how they operate. And so not every Voodoo house is the same. Not everyone does Voodoo the same way. And so that's why I say a lot, like, this is what I know. This is how I was raised, because not everyone has the same experience. Now there are a lot of houses that do not believe in initiating white people because Haitian Voodoo is such an ancestral practice. Yeah. Right. Now, my spiritual mother has made the decision to do that because she believes anyone can be called to serve the spirits. Yeah. Right. And that is my spiritual mother's journey. And that is what she has decided to do with her house. Now that is not every Voodoo house. Yeah. So I just want to be clear about that. Yeah. Is you will meet people that don't believe that is possible and should be possible, and there should be an opening. Yeah. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. Like every house is different.
No, I love the transparency, and I love the answer because I know people had it on their minds, and I, just wanted to ask. So thank you. Yeah. But I just want to say thank you so much, Manbo, for being on the Selfish Babe podcast. I know my Selfish Babes are going to follow you, and just thank you for teaching us. Thank you for surrendering. Thank you for answering the call and building a life in Haiti. I know it hasn't been easy, and I continue to affirm that you get many, many blessings. And I just want to give you a virtual hug. So yes.
Thank you for having me on here. Thank you, everyone who is listening near and far. Thank you for just hearing me, listening to me. Like, I'm sweating over here.
Same.